producers need to hope for is that, you know, in terms of winter precipitation, the reality is that unless it's an unbelievably nasty winter with a lot of precipitation, we're not going to see a lot of changes in the drought monitor. What we need to hope for is that we return to an aggressive precipitation pattern next spring, particularly after we get planting done, because we have a lot of subsoil moisture to make up from this fall. Those deficits are running anywhere from 2 to 4 inches. We're running precipitation in terms of percent of normal that's running anywhere from 10% of normal in the southwest, south central part of the state to about 50% of normal across portions of east central Nebraska. So if those deficits are not made up and we receive normal precipitation from this point going forward, statistical analysis from the early 80s that was done by my predecessor, just a simple metric, found that you usually use about 2.5% of your baseline yield. So whatever you've got figured out with FSA for your acreage in terms of its trend change over time, we know that that's included in there, you would expect a 2.5% yield reduction for each inch you're shy of normal. So if we're carrying a 4-inch deficit in the next spring and don't make that up and have normal moisture next spring and next summer, you're probably already looking at a 10% yield reduction. And remember, we don't have the subsoil moisture down deep, so we've got to rebuild that ball back up. And that's why these statistics tend to work a little bit better, is simply because we know we're void of moisture, so we don't have to worry about not accounting for deep subsoil moisture that may be there, but in reality, it is not there. If that does not materialize, then get prepared for a drought. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There just will not be a substantial enough moisture unless it falls heavily during June to carry us through the entire cropping season. That's what happened this year. I had warned about that. The drying pattern would come to catch us up, and it caught up to us in a short order as we got into the month of July, in late July, across the entire Corn Belt. So that's the same situation we're set up for. Generally, we repeat the same type of patterns over the second year, and they tend to be more intense if the event carries on all the way through a second full year.